Going to do a before and after of this Buescher Big B that I picked up the other day. It's in pretty bad need of repair. Here's the neck. Has some dents on it right there. The repairman said he can get those out. The horn needs quite a bit of work. At some point, it's been dropped. There's a big dent there on the D. Is pretty dinged up. Octave is bent. Some of the springs are off, but that's fixable. And then these are a little bit bent also. It's going to get new pads, new felt, oiled, and we'll see what it looks like when he finishes it up. So he's going to go completely over it, take it apart, oil it, straighten everything up. I am looking forward to it. Hear how it sounds. It's the original case too. Bought it from a guy who said it was his dad's. He played it when he was in junior high, and it's been sitting in the closet since then, and I believe him. Case is still in good condition. See how it turns out. Here's the finished product. Got it back from Henline's Woodwind Repair in Bloomington, Indiana. And as you saw just a minute ago, it had a lot of dents and dings in it. But now, I will show you what Eli was able to do. First and most notably was the big dent right here. See it? It's gone. He worked that big dent out. Keys work great. The octave rod was also bent. He fixed that. Did a great job. And on the neck, it had some, see that little dent right there? That little dent used to be two big dents that were hideous. He got those out, put a new cork on it, put completely new put new pads on the entire horn. These still have the buttons on the, they were made for button pads. It's this thing that Buescher did for a while. He did not leave the, he did not take the buttons off of the pads. He actually cut each of the new pads custom, because the old style doesn't work as good as the new style now, but he didn't cut things off the horn. He custom fit each pad. Does a lot of work. Does a lot of good work. And so now, there were a couple dents down here on the bottom too. He took those out. I've had the horn, I think, for 2 months now. Been playing it, and it sounds amazing. I don't think you can see it. Serial number and true tone, it says down there. He did a lot of good work. It sounds wonderful. Eli did such a good job with my Buescher, or however you want to say it. Did such a good job with that tenor horn that I took him this other Buescher that I had also. It's called the Elkhart. A friend of mine had this sitting in a closet for years and years. He's in his mid-80s right now, and he's had it for a long time. Wasn't playable either because it was so bent up, and some of the rods were bent. The neck was messed up. Pads were awful. So the Big B was so nice that I ended up taking him this other Buescher, Elkhart, and he did some work on that. I just got it back, and it plays beautifully. Plays so good that I think I'm going to sell my Yamaha now I don't need two altos, but I'm going to keep this one. Sounds wonderful. It's the Buescher The Elkhart. Maybe you've seen these before. You can pick them up pretty cheap right now. But if you want a good horn, if you have the money to put into getting it repadded, depending on where you live, it might cost you $1,000. It was way under that for this horn for me. Interesting horn. I think it's. I'm a Buescher guy now. Love them. They sound great. But anyway, we'll get back to the Big B. What's interesting about both of these horns is they sat in a closet for decades because they had been damaged so badly they weren't usable. Some of us have issues in life like that, or relationships. Maybe some of the things, skeletons in our closet, we've just kept them there because they're damaged so badly we don't know what to do with them. We don't know how to fix them. Well, these horns, I took them to a master technician, Henline Woodwind Repair in Bloomington, Indiana. He's good. He knows what he's doing. He's trained and knows how to fix them. I didn't. In our lives, there are some places where we're damaged, it seems like beyond repair, and we don't know what to do. The good news for today is that we have a master technician of lives that knows how to repair us. He built us. He knows what it takes to have a useful, a beautiful life. And if we're willing to let God do some work in our lives, He can repair us. If we've been the ones sitting, hiding, or feel like we're not usable, if we would let God do the work in our lives, He can turn us into something that would be beautiful. Like this horn doesn't look amazing. I mean, it's a little bit tarnished, it's not all shiny and new, but when it's played, it sounds beautifully. When God works in us, it doesn't mean that everything's going to look like we're fresh out of the factory, like, oh, well, nothing's ever happened to them. But what can happen when we begin telling the story of our lives and what God's done, people can say, that's amazing. I didn't know that was possible. Both of these horns have been turned into something great. And if you'll let God work in your life too, He can do that for you. So in as much as it's in your control, let God start work on you and see if He can't take those things that you've kept in the closet and if He can turn them into something good so that when people see you, they will say, I didn't expect that from there. They might not recognize the potential you have. Let God do some work. If you have any questions or comments about these horns, feel free to leave it in the comments section and I'll do my best to answer. I'm not a great saxophone player, but I enjoy it, and it's nice to play on horns that sound really good. Look forward to seeing you again soon, but until then, hope you have a good week.